Naomi lived in Bethlehem, a small town surrounded by hills and golden fields, a place she had always known as home. Life had been calm there, simple and familiar. Her husband, Elimelech, was a man of quiet dignity, and together with their two sons, Mahlon and Kilian, they formed a family rooted in faith and tradition. They attended the synagogue, followed the customs of their ancestors, and had enough to live on. But then a famine struck the land. The sky seemed empty, the earth dry, and the fields yielded nothing. Food became scarce, and the once vibrant streets of Bethlehem felt hollow and heavy with the weight of hunger. Naomi spoke to her husband quietly one evening, her voice carrying the tremor of worrying she could not hide. "Elimelech," she said, her hands gripping the worn edge of the table, "the famine has lasted long. There is little to eat, and the children are hungry. Perhaps we should leave Bethlehem and find a place where food still grows." Elimelech looked into her eyes, seeing the lines of anxiety etched deeper by worrying. He nodded slowly, understanding the burden of providing for his family. "Then we will go to Moab," he said, "a foreign land across the border, unfamiliar yet promising. There, we may find sustenance until God provides for us again." And so, with heavy hearts and a silent farewell to the fields of their ancestors, Naomi, Elimelech, and their sons journeyed to Moab. The road was long and harsh. Dust rose under their sandals, and the sun beat down relentlessly, but hope and necessity drove them forward. They arrived in Moab, a land foreign in language and customs, yet it was there they hoped to survive. In Moab, Elimelech passed quietly through the days, seeking work and sustenance. Mahlon and Kilian grew, as young men do, and soon each married a Moabite woman. Mahlon married Ruth, and Kilian married Orpah. The house, once filled with anxious silence, now echoed with new voices, with laughter and tentative joy as the families built lives in a foreign land. Naomi watched the unions with quiet gratitude, though her heart longed for the familiar hills and people of Bethlehem. But life is fragile. Fate, as it often does, shifted suddenly. Elimelech fell ill and died, leaving Naomi a widow, her heart heavy, her family fractured. Days passed with mourning unspoken, filled with the quiet ache of absence and the bitter taste of loss. Then, one after another, her sons also fell ill, Mahlon, then Kilian, until Naomi found herself bereft of husband and children. The women she had watched over now bound to grief alongside her. The days became long, silent, filled with muted prayers and whispered sorrows. Naomi's heart felt a crushing emptiness. She rose each morning to a house that echoed with absence, where laughter and conversation had once been. Her daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpah, were pillars beside her, their grief entwined with her own. And yet, as much as she loved them, Naomi felt the pull of home, the yearning for Bethlehem. "Return to your mother's house," Naomi said one evening, her voice trembling but determined as she spoke to Ruth and Orpah. "The Lord has dealt bitterly with me. Go, live your lives, find comfort among your people. I cannot offer you a future here." Orpah hesitated. Her eyes glimmered with unshed tears. She pressed her hand to Naomi's face, her lips whispering a soft goodbye. Naomi watched the young woman walk away, her figure fading into the distance. Each step Orpah took seemed to carry a piece of Naomi's heart with it. She whispered a silent prayer for her safety, for the hope that she might find a life renewed in Moab. But Ruth's face remained steadfast. Her eyes shone with quiet resolve. She stepped close to Naomi, taking her hand gently. "Do not urge me to leave you," she said softly, yet with unwavering determination. "Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if anything but death parts me from you." Naomi looked at her, stunned by the depth of commitment. There were no tears at first, only the silent understanding of loyalty so profound it left her breathless. Ruth's words lingered in the air, each syllable echoing in Naomi's heart, a promise of steadfastness that shone brighter than grief itself. Finally, Naomi let a small smile break through, and for the first time in many weeks, a spark of hope stirred within her. The journey back to Bethlehem was long and filled with unspoken thoughts. Naomi walked in quiet reflection, her mind recalling the streets, the hills, and the markets of her youth. Ruth walked beside her, sometimes silently, sometimes speaking gentle words of comfort. Each step was a testament to faith, perseverance, and the bonds that outlast sorrow. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the town seemed almost suspended in memory. Naomi's return was whispered among the neighbors. "Is this Naomi?" they asked, their voices carrying both surprise and pity. Naomi raised her head, greeting them with a calm, measured voice. The name Naomi itself, which means pleasant, now felt ironic to her. Bitter had been her life. She thought silently, yet she walked with Ruth, the foreign daughter-in-law who had chosen her, whose presence brought warmth to the hollow corners of her heart. Ruth, with her quiet diligence and humble strength, began working in the fields, gleaning grain to provide food. Each day, Naomi watched her, silently reflecting on the courage and resilience of this young woman who had left everything behind to walk with her. Ruth bent beneath the sun, her hands picking the scattered kernels, whispering soft prayers to the God she now worshipped, each glance toward Naomi filled with devotion. The days passed in routine and modest labor, yet each one carried meaning. Naomi began to whisper to herself again, her voice carrying both caution and hope. She guided Ruth in the ways of Bethlehem, explaining customs, telling her whom to avoid, and where she might find favor. Ruth listened attentively, absorbing not just the words, but the subtleties, the silences, the quiet lessons embedded in Naomi's experiences. Then Naomi devised a plan, a whisper of hope and courage wrapped in careful instruction. She told Ruth, "Wash, anoint yourself, put on your best garment, and go to the threshing floor. Wait until Boaz lies down, and when he sleeps, uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." Ruth, though puzzled, trusted Naomi completely. She followed the instructions with careful precision, her mind focused on Naomi's words and the hope they carried. Boaz, a man of stature and kindness, awoke startled, finding Ruth at his feet. She explained her presence, her voice soft yet firm. Boaz listened, moved by her loyalty, her courage, and the wisdom Naomi had shared through her guidance. In quiet thought, Boaz acknowledged the bond between Naomi and Ruth, the quiet strength of a woman who had faced bitterness yet still believed in God's providence. Boaz acted with integrity, ensuring Ruth's protection and declaring his willingness to fulfill the duty of a kinsman redeemer. When Ruth returned to Naomi, her heart was buoyed, her silent prayers answered. Naomi's eyes glimmered with quiet triumph, her whispers of gratitude to God flowing freely now. Time passed, and Ruth bore a son, Obed. Naomi held the child close, her heart swelling with a mixture of awe, gratitude, and the quiet wonder of life restored. The women of Bethlehem spoke softly among themselves, marveling at the circle of faith and loyalty that had brought Naomi from bitterness to joy. Naomi whispered to the child, "This is my hope restored, my joy renewed. May he grow in the Lord's favor." Ruth's loyalty, courage, and steadfast love had changed the course of Naomi's life. Every silence, every whispered prayer, every careful thought had led to this moment. Naomi's heart, once heavy with grief, now overflowed with quiet joy. The story of Ruth and Naomi became one of devotion, resilience, and the power of faith, an enduring testament to how love, loyalty, and trust in God can transform the bitterest moments into a future full of promise.